All right, welcome everybody to our regular scheduled city council meeting. Today is Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, and it's 6 p.m. I'll call this meeting to order, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we'll ask our clerk to read the open meeting statement for us.
This meeting and all meetings of the Common Council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the media in accordance with Wisconsin state statutes, so the citizens may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting.
And Barb, you want to take roll also?
Yep. Mayor Smith,
Here.
Colin Dykstra,
Here.
Paul Hagan,
Here.
Eric Halverson,
Here.
Dimitri Martin,
Here.
Paul Mayo,
Here.
Corey Nagel,
Here.
Eric Olson,
Here.
Dave Peterson,
Here.
Scott Perchatsky,
Here.
Henry Velliker.
Here.
10 present, we have a quorum.
And Barb, you want to start the introductions of the staff?
Barb Nowak, City Clerk.
Josh Finch, City Administrator.
Eric Bailey, Library Director.
Juliana Stoes, Community and Economic Development Director.
Stephanie Reif, Finance Director.
Justin Behrens, Director of Public Works.
Laura Colbert, Parks and Rec Director.
Pete Krager, Chief of Police.
And of course, Josh Warner is in the back room operating the equipment for us. So thank you, everybody. We have next up the consent agenda. This is for items that we take with one motion, unless you see an item that you would like to be moved to the regular agenda. If not, we'd be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Olson, second by Hagan, that we approve the consent agenda as printed. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. Under the regular agenda, what you see is what we have tonight. There are no additions or deletions or changes to it. So again, we would just need a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Olson, that we approve the regular agenda as printed. Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. Under Community Department Head Reports, we have, first of all, we have a guest tonight. We have Liz Kinnear is reporting on Waupaca Area Library for the Wacken tonight. Hi, Liz.
Hello, Mayor Smith. Thank you very much. I am Liz Kinnear. I'm the exhibit room coordinator at the Waupaca Area Public Library. And the library is part of the Waupaca Arts and Cultural Network, or WACN, which is the result of the Waupaca Cultural Plan that was initiated in 2018. We are excited to know that with your support, planning will continue to keep the arts and culture as an important part of the fabric of our community. Collaborations are key to our success at the library. Halloween on Main with the City of Waupaca, Parks and Rec Department, and area businesses is a great example. The Yuletide Trail has turned into a wonderful annual collaboration of WACN members. We had over 500 people visit the library during the event. Many who would not typically stop by were still finding glitter throughout the library from that day. Many of our programs are collaborations with community partners such as Winchester Academy of Waupaca that we've established through WACN. We are excited for these events, big and small, that strengthen bonds with our partners and make Waupaca an even more vibrant community. As many of you may or may not know, the City of Waupaca celebrated its 150th anniversary this past April, and it also marked the 125th anniversary of the Waupaca Area Public Library. We teamed up with our great friends at the Waupaca Area Historical Society to mark this occasion with a celebration on April 12th, including fun activities and, of course, some cake. Additionally, we displayed historic images on the bandstand to highlight the city and library's beginnings, as well as information on why the city became a city. To complement these big anniversaries, we also highlighted anniversaries with Waupaca Media, Win TV, the radio station, Good News Waupaca, and showcased their memorabilia in display cases in the lobby between City Hall and the library. 2025 was another great year for the exhibit room. We hosted a diverse offering of exhibits and programs, and collaborations and relationships were strengthened with community partners, working with over 20 unique partners on a city, county, state, and national level. We created many meaningful connections with our patrons this year. We hosted 7 exhibits with a total of 26,266 visitors. We hosted 2 dispersed exhibits, one in City Hall lobby, one on the bandstand. We can't get numbers on those since they're dispersed. We provided 26 in-person programs with 3,208 people in attendance. The exhibit room, which if you don't know where the exhibit room is, hopefully you've all been there. It's in the lower level of our library, just off of the children's department. But the exhibit room, along with my position, is completely funded by our library foundation with a budget of $3,000 directly contributed through the generosity of donations from community members. Exhibits in 2025 ranged from raising awareness on homelessness in rural communities with Foundations for Living to highlighting the Waupaca International Cultural Exchange Committee, or WICHEC, their relationship and travels to Matoyo City, Japan. We recognized local artists, educated patrons young and old on World War I, created conversations around the importance of access to any and all information with our banned books exhibit, and hosted over 400 school district of Waupaca students on field trips. Field trips are free to schools. They take many hands across departments, but I think we all agree that the effort is well worth it when we make connections with our youngest patrons. Our most notable accomplishment this year, from an exhibit room perspective, was hosting the #1 New York Times bestselling international author Ruta Sepetys in March, and for a return visit with fellow author Steve Shankin this fall. We connected with over 1,200 school district of Waupaca students for these presentations, with an additional 300 people attending community presentations. After her first visit, Ruta mentioned, "Waupaca is the type of place authors love to visit." What an amazing compliment to receive. This speaks volumes to the work that WACN does. Without collaboration, without our city placing emphasis on the importance of cultural experiences and connections, we aren't able to attract authors and other artists like Steve and Ruta that will leave a lasting impact on our students and community. Looking ahead to 2026, Youth Art Month, a fantastic collaboration with the School District of Waupaca art teachers, will be on display starting in February, followed by a local agriculture and gardening exhibit, Wisconsin Archaeology and Geology, celebrating the Waupaca Community Arts Board, or WACAB's 20th anniversary this summer, local artist Kevin Knopp, and finishing the year with amazing quilts from local artisans. How fortunate are we to have the opportunity to recognize the rich cultural diversity in our community? When stopping downstairs to see an exhibit, don't forget your library is a great portal for free digital content, ebooks, e-audiobooks, and streaming video, and of course, books, magazines, and newspapers, all free for use with your library card. Although libraries are sometimes generalized as a place to check out books, our real goal is to provide a wide variety of inclusive services that add to the quality of life for our residents and help shape the culture of Waupaca. WACN provides the connections and networking opportunities to scale up many of these initiatives, making us so much more successful. While I'm here, I'm going to switch hats to volleyball coach real quick and just extend a huge thank you to our community for your support during our season this fall, but especially in the lead up to our appearance at the state tournament. I can say without a doubt that this is an experience that our players and coaches will never forget. Chief Waller, Chief Kragers, who is here tonight, and the Sheriff's Department went above and beyond with their coordination and patience for the parade to send us out of town. We appreciate the support and recognition from our City Council and Mayor, but more than anything, the people in our community were phenomenal. To see people take time out of their day for our pep rally and parade, to walk into the Rush Center and see over 1,000 fans cheering for us on a Friday morning, it's all indescribable, but it goes back to Ruta's comment I mentioned earlier. Waupaca is the type of place people love to be a part of, and it starts here in this room, with leadership that sees the importance of supporting arts and culture and recognizing and celebrating our young people. Thank you, Mayor Smith, City Council members, and City Administration for your continued support of the library, WACN, and arts and culture initiatives in Waupaca. I'm excited to see where this next round of arts planning takes the city to make it an even more vibrant community. Thanks so much for having me, and have a great night.
Thank you, Liz. Yeah. All right. Okay, next up, in your packet, you have the Waupaca Area Fire District report. It's on page 68 through 70. That's just for informational purposes. And then we have department head reports. Where are we starting, Eric?
I'll start. Library report starts on page 4 of your packet. A couple of quick highlights to draw attention to. With 2025 having wrapped up, I'm thrilled to report that we're back over 100,000 visits for the year, according to the people counter at the entrance. So that's exciting. That's the first time we've been back over that mark since the pandemic. We do have some radio spots for the library that are coming up. Those are sponsored by the Library Foundation, who are really looking for ways to help increase awareness of the services that the library has to offer. Those will be airing on WDUX for about the next 6 months. Long-range planning process, we're deep into the middle of that. There will be a survey that will be going out here at the start of February, so look for that to appear on a website, social media, countertop, etc. near you. And lastly, we're working on replacing some chairs on the main floor since some of the ones that we have are getting a bit tattered and they get to be difficult to keep clean once the vinyl starts coming off. And that is my report.
All right. Thanks, Eric. Any questions, comments? All right, Juliana.
Thanks. In terms of big projects around the city, the Arts Hub has received its occupancy permit for its new building on School Street next to the rec center. We're excited to see that project up and running in its new space. The River North subdivision has work continuing on 4 of the first 6 homes. 2 of them are just pending their final inspections, and the other 2 are still well underway on the framing stage of the process. For 233 South Division Street, that 30-unit apartment building received occupancy, and 12 of the 30 units are already filled with tenants as of a week and a half ago. So that's just within several weeks of receiving occupancy, and it's good to see those filling up quickly. With a couple of highlights for 2025, overall, we granted occupancy for 75 new apartments, as well as issued permits for 12 new single-family and 2-family homes throughout the city. I also wanted to give some brief updates on the Community and Economic Development Department staffing. We are continuing to recruit for the residential building inspector and code enforcement officer position. Brian will be retiring at the end of this month, and we are also investigating interim solutions to make sure that we are continuing to offer that vital service to the community and continuing to support people doing projects on their homes. I also wanted to share that we had a new intern join the department. Emma Anderson is a UW Stevens Point student, and we're excited to have her contributing to our department through the spring semester. Thank you.
Thanks, Juliana. Stephanie.
We're in the thick of our interim stages for the financial audit. The auditors will be on site tomorrow all day. That's a very long process, so I'm trying to give a little more detail to it, but as very much like the budget, it's a couple month, if not almost a quarter of the time or half of the year process as we button up all of their tasks that they require and the supporting documentation that goes along with each of those tasks. Additionally, we're working through our year-end payroll reporting, and employees can expect to receive their W-2 forms by the end of the month. That's it.
All right, thanks, Dave. Steph, Justin.
Thanks, Mayor. My updates on 29 and 30 of the packet. As usual, starting in the wastewater world, our WPDES permit is being renewed, so Wisconsin Pollution Discharge Elimination System. It's through the DNR. We just call it our permit, and basically every wastewater plant has one. Some industries have it as well. So our permit will be renewed by April 1st. So staff and I have been reviewing the changes. There's several that are coming, combing through it, and we have some question and answer period right now that we're going to be submitting some questions to the DNR for some clarification. And then eventually it will be applied, and with the Water and Sewer Board, we'll be kind of combing through that and going through the details. So What it will mean is a new permit, and we'll have some new things that we'll have to do, especially in the lab and testing. So we'll roll those details out as we work through them. Our televising program for 2026 is much bigger than what it typically is. But like normal, we advertise for proposals in December, received one back, and to the tune of $14,905.50. That was reviewed with the Water and Sewer Board and approved with a contract with a company named Aqualis, who we worked with before. Basically, what we do is we hire a company that sends a camera, a robot through our sewer mains, and then we get an inspection report and we can see it, the video, there's a report, and we can start planning future projects. So we do have some areas that we have some concerns that we're looking into, and then obviously planning out well in the future with some of our road and water main projects. So just an update on that. Street side, we've had a lot of snow and ice events, so the staff there has been very busy. End of the year, our budget was looking pretty heavy on the overtime. Our salt is actually we're very good quantity. We had that new salt shed, built large enough for us, so we're doing pretty good. I've gotten some calls from other municipalities asking us, like, do you have extra, or where do you get yours from? But we're sitting in a pretty good spot. We've had some thawing, and now we're right back down to freezing, and what that does is create a lot of potholes. So in between the snow events, when things dry out, we are attacking those potholes and trying to fill them in. Unfortunately, with the bad weather and more plowing, a lot of times those patches do not last. So be patient. We're trying to hit them up when we see them. And when they are seen, certainly we'll take those comments from the public and we'll address them as soon as we can. So speaking of the weather, on the water side, we're monitoring the frost levels. With this cold, frost gets deeper. We do have a couple customers who are on a trickle notice, or they're running their water so they don't have freezing. Our staff is able to monitor the temperatures of the meters from our beacon software, so they're looking at that every single day. And there's some that automatically alert or alarm, and then we've been reaching out to those people to talk to them about where in the basement it's located, if it's insulated, and then kind of work through the process that way. The new truck is in at the water department, so that's just our standard 2,500 size pickup truck. That's from Dodge Peterson. It is outfitted with a plow and toolboxes, so that is now in the fleet, and it's a very nice truck. So Peterson did a very good job for us. Facility side, with the weather, the floors are getting cleaned a lot more. So we're trying to keep up on that with people tracking in and out of our public facilities. And we did receive an extra order of salt for the facilities it's through the bags for the facilities than in the shed with the streets. So Fulton Ped Bridge, two projects that we kind of talk about sometimes in the same vein. We have a meeting set up for Fulton Street, an early design meeting next week, so we're going to see a very preliminary plan from that very soon. The Ped Bridge, Laura's going to speak on a little bit, but we've set up a number of meetings with local stakeholders and have received a lot of good feedback for both projects, so those are trending in the right direction. That's it, Mayor.
Thanks, Justin. Laura?
Thank you. You can find my report on page 31. The first thing I want to mention is we received our summary report on the kayak rental station, and we received $189 for housing that on South Park Beach. It's down by 6 from last year, so we're holding steady with just a few bucks here and there, which is always a good asset, and it's another amenity that we can offer our community. All right, I am going to, as Justin said, talk to you about the Ped Bridge, and so that is on page 34. You can see a very preliminary concept drawing. When we get a 3D rendering of this, which we should get this month or soon, I will bring that to council and share that with you as well, but we wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of what we're planning. As Justin said, we've met with a number of stakeholders. We've met with veterans groups, VFW, Legion, Cemetery, our own council member who's a veteran, and the Foundry. We've met with Lions because it's on Schwen Lions Park, and we are meeting with Bank First very soon, and the Commandant at the Veterans Home and the Historical Society. So we're really trying to make sure that we meet everybody who might want to have a stake in this design. So when you look at this image, there is a very light gray bridge going across the river to give you an idea of what we're looking at. That light bridge is the existing bridge that is going to be torn down. And you can see on this map that the new bridge is going to be much larger. And instead of coming down onto Cooper Street, it's going to come over Cooper Street and land on the Bank First lawn. Where the existing Schwen Lions Park is, we are hoping to turn that into the first ever city Veterans Memorial Park, and which is why we've been meeting with a lot of veterans organizations. You can see some concept designs below the schematic. Those include the concrete stones that would hold the specific wars. So they're war memorial blocks. Some feedback we've gotten from the groups is they would like to see local granite stones there in a stone shape, not in a block shape, with local wars. We have to determine which wars we want to put on there, and then unfortunately we'll have to leave room for potential future wars. You can also see a medallion on there, which is about the size of a sewer drain. And when I met with the COO of the Foundry, he said that the Foundry would most likely like to partner with us on that to develop those medallions that exemplify all 6 branches of the military. So there will be a retaining wall underneath the bridge that houses those medallions. We'll have lighting on it. The bridge will be lit up, as you can see in this concept design. The bridge won't look exactly like that. I'm sorry, scroll back to where we were before. Yep, so you can see the bridge will have lighting on it. So instead of having a hidden Schwen Lions Park, we're hoping to really open it up and make it this visual focal point that is a war memorial. So you can see it from Bank First Lawn, you can see it from down by Cooper Street, you can see it from Doc Kelly's. We're really hoping that it'll be this really wonderful place that people can go and remember and or hold ceremonies there. So can you just go right back up to the picture of the whole concept? Thank you. You can see that once you get over to the Schwen Lions Park, there's a circular pattern. Where the circle is, that's where the war memorials are going to go. And then under the bridge, there's a thicker black line. That's the retaining wall that the medallions will be on. And the pinkish reddish rectangle is where we're going to have a flat grassy area for ceremonies. We are going to leave at this point, Bank First, a pretty blank slate, so people can still come and have events there. There's not going to be things getting in their way. They can put up tents or not. And we are hoping to put in potentially heated restrooms for public use on the Bank First lawn right by the thrift store. Okay.
Nice.
That was a lot of information. Really great. I'm going to move on with my director's report unless anybody wants to ask any questions. Sorry, Mayor, I know I shouldn't ask that. But.
No, yeah, go ahead.
I'll give you one.
Yeah, go ahead, Colin.
Is there any support in this plan below the bridge, or is it an entire span from side to side? Are there any?
Go ahead.
One large span.
Okay.
Paul, go ahead.
Is there going to be any access to Cooper Street from the bridge?
We are looking at putting staircases going up onto the Bank First lawn that will then get you onto the bridge to take you over to Schwen Lions Park. Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? All right, go ahead, Laura.
Okay. I only have 2 more other things I want to say, and that is our ice skating rink is back up at Lower South Park. They got groomed again today. The ice is plenty thick enough. And our Winter Rec Fest is occurring on February 14th. It is Valentine's Day. We are going to end an hour earlier than normal so people can still go on their date nights. So it's from 3 to 6, and we are switching locations from Swan Park to South Park so that we can offer ice skating and ice fishing and keep the same events that we've always had, such as the Arctic Dash and Fire Pit and illuminated story walk and snowshoeing and all the things. So again, amazing family event, 3 to 6, February 14th at South Park instead of Swan.
All right, cool. Chief Gregor?
Thank you, Mayor. My memo can be found on page 37 of your packet. What's not included in this memo is an incident that occurred last night that I just want to mention briefly to council, because there was a press release done by the sheriff's office, and we also pushed out some information on our Facebook page reference to that incident. If you didn't see it, there was a multi-jurisdictional incident involving a fleeing and impaired driver that had occurred outside of our county. We received information that the pursuit was terminated, and with the use of our flock technology, the camera systems that are in the city and throughout the county as well now, provided us key information that the vehicle had entered the city. We were able to locate the vehicle along with the sheriff's office and attempted to have the driver step out of the vehicle. The driver decided not to and ended up ramming backing into the sheriff's office squad car along with one of our patrol vehicles, causing some minor damage. A short pursuit ensued after that and ended up ending on North Washington Street. Thankfully, no one was injured as far as citizens or officers, and minimal damage. I attribute our squad having that brush guard in front of it that prevented damage that would have probably made the squad inoperable. Without that brush guard, it probably would have taken out the radiator, so thankfully we had that, and our squad is still in service. So just wanted to highlight that. During the months of November, December, we responded to 1,038 calls for service, 126 traffic stops were conducted, 95 citations, 63 warnings. It's in the packet. Again, 27 referrals for criminal charges were referred to the DA's office. We had an uptick with mental health / welfare check type calls over the holiday season, and has continued into January for whatever reason. Highlighted in the report is one night we ended up having 5 different types of welfare checks calls. As you can imagine, that at times can put a stress on our services. And recognizing that uptick and continued need for proper training and mental health services that we can assist with, we had an officer attend the Community Crisis CIT for short intervention training that's put on by NAMI, which is the National Alliance for Mental Illness. That training was fully funded by NAMI. That covered the expense for the officer to attend, and the intent for that training is to enhance our de-escalation techniques, increase mental health awareness, improves community trust, and reduces our force and liability considerations when we're having these types of calls. We hope to get more officers in that training. I ironically went through that training 20 years ago when I was with the Green Bay Police Department, when that was kind of in its infancy stages, and they continue to expand that CIT, Community Crisis Intervention Team training, and there's a ton of value there, and I'm thankful we're able to get some of our officers through that and more in the future. Also want to mention, give a shout out to Greg, our grant writer. He's continues to be a critical asset for the city. The PD is part of the Central Wisconsin Drug Task Force, which is comprised of 14 other law enforcement agencies in our area. They're listed in that packet, and Greg graciously is assisting the Drug Task Force in writing a grant for $50,000 to cover equipment and training for that multi-jurisdictional team, and there's a ton of benefits being part of that. There's been things in the past that we've had great success being part of the Central Wisconsin Drug Task Force, and continue to be part of that group moving forward. That is all I have, Mayor.
All right. Thanks, Pete.
Yep.
Questions? Josh?
One of the projects I'm working on is multi-factor authentication. We're going to be doing more of it, so staff's going to be happy with me over the next couple of weeks. Part of that's wrapping up our first cybersecurity grant. Part of that was to implement multi-factor to access our computers. And last year I did the police department, and then any staff with access to financial data, and I think it went a lot better than expected and very minimal issues. So we're going to implement that in the rest of our staff computers to protect all of our internal data, and then we'll be implementing it on our system that we use for our timekeeping, where pay stubs and W-2s are accessed. It made a lot of sense that we should be doing it on there just because of the sort of data that's accessed. That's going to be implemented over the next week or two. I'm working with Greg. We're going to apply the same cyber security grant that's covering the multi-factor on the computers. There's another round of funding, and they've expanded what's eligible. So I'm working with Greg right now on an application. This time we're applying to be able to get some educational and training services for staff, next generation firewall, premium DNS filtering, and then to see if they'll cover the costs to do a penetration test. That's due at the end of the month, and we should know in April if we get that funding. A nice part about the grant is if we get it is it's 100% covers the cost for these services for 2 years. There's no match or requirement during that period of time. And then if you pay attention to what's going on with technology, AI is eating up all the computer components out there, and that's driving down inventory, driving up costs. Typically, sometime in February, I order our computers for our annual computer replacement. Those have already been ordered, and I was right at the heels of getting those before the pricing went up, or I had one vendor tell me, hey, we're not honoring your order. They're $300 more per computer. Do you still want to continue? And I said no, and I found them somewhere else. We also have some computers built into the rec center expansion project covered by the grant, and I got those right away because I can't predict where those are going to be this summer, and I don't want that way over budget. And it's going to be a odd year for trying to procure certain IT stuff, so trying to get ahead of it where I can to keep it within an acceptable price range, and we'll see how it goes after this. So that's my update.
All right. Thanks, Josh. Clark?
Thank you, Mayor. My report can be found on page 40 of the packet. There is no primary election in February this year, so that was good news. And the deputy clerk update. So we received 19 applications for the position, which was a pretty big increase from the previous ones where we only received 4 applicants for each one. We did 8 interviews, and I'm very pleased to report that Vanessa Kermsey began on January 12th as the deputy clerk. She has completed 2 of the trainings for WISVOTE, which is probably 8 hours or 9 hours. So she can have full access to the election website, which is very helpful. And we are working, Vanessa and I are working on the required training for the election workers. So we're working on setting up a date for that. Every other year we have to conduct training per state statute for all election workers. January 6th was the deadline for the declaration of candidacy and nomination papers. And I'm happy to announce that everyone, all the incumbents, Mayor Smith, Dave Peterson, Eric Olson, Paul Mayo, Eric Halverson, and Henry Velliker have submitted paperwork. And then we also had a paperwork submitted from Michael Roberts running in the 1st Aldermanic District. So we drew for names on the ballot placement for the ballot on January 12th. And Roy Llewellyn, who was chief inspector, has stepped down from his role, and Eric Johnston is taking over his role. He has been an election worker for, I think, 3 years. I think this is going into his 4th year. So I'm happy to have him as the chief inspector with Claudette. And that's about it. So if you are in the area, stop in and say hi to Vanessa. Thank you.
Thanks, Barb. Josh?
Thanks, Mayor. You can find my report starting on page 41. December and January were pretty busy. I had the opportunity to continue discussions with the Historical Society and Friends of the King's Commandant Home. For those of you that are unaware, there is a partnership that is in the works to allow the Historic Society to kind of take point and control over the King's Commandant home. And it's a really great effort with a lot of people involved. This definitely predates me by quite a long time. This has been a long time coming. And it's incredible to see what's being able to be accomplished with the wonderful collaboration of folks, especially with Tracy being able to do so much with this. Additionally, I was able to attend the downtown partnership meeting a couple weeks ago. We had approximately 20 attendees, and it was great being able to connect with local business owners. Additionally, back in December, attended the Yotide event and the annual tree lighting, and even though it was kind of cold on that Thursday night, it was pretty well attended, I'd like to say. And just thanks to everybody that was involved with that process, staff, volunteers, and everybody involved. It's definitely a lot of hard work making events like that happen, and it's seemed to go very, very well and well attended on every single night. I also attended an East Central Planning Commission Environmental Management Committee. This is largely in relation to just a regional discussions with the East Central Planning. Not a lot to necessarily note at this point, but there are some conversations about some updates that may happen from them from a regional perspective with sewer service agreements and whatnot. If there's anything to note, I will be making sure to connect with Justin as we kind of talk about the updates that are going on with them. Also, at the end of December, the SMARCLs were reviewed, employee reviews were facilitated, and there were obviously ongoing conversations about planning for 2026 in discussion with department heads and staff. It's our hope to be able to get everything facilitated per policy by the end of the first quarter, and the hope is to try and have that end of January, early February to be locked in for SMARCLs for 2026. A fun experience for me, as I kind of had mentioned back in October, I had the opportunity to do a ride-along. I did another ride-along this past December. This time it was a nighttime ride-along, and it was very interesting to kind of see the difference in the day to the night. And it's just incredible the impact and the overall involvement that our officers have. And I do think that we're very, very fortunate to have the team that we do. There is a situation that kind of came to mind where it was raining, it was sleeting, it was just cold, and there was a car that was stuck, and I didn't even notice the car, and one of the officers that I was with happened to notice it and immediately went over and was like, "Hey, what can I do to help? Like, what's going on? You need anything?" kind of thing. And I think that's incredible, that community servicing component, I think, is really critical to highlight. So last few things, thank you for those of you on council that I've been able to sit down with one-on-one or have scheduled it. If you haven't, you're going to be hearing from me pretty quick, but again, looking forward to those continued discussions. So as always, if anybody has any questions, I'm always a phone call, email, drop in away.
Thanks, Josh. Any questions, comments? All right, let's go ahead, Colin.
Here, before we go on, if you wouldn't mind, there's a couple of items I wanted to say as public input, but I think we skipped over that for
we
Liz.
didn't do public input, did we?
If that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things I wanted to note, I like to note when we have people that are volunteering in our community, and if you haven't noticed, Josh Warner has been volunteering over at the Arts Hub to help with their IT program, and I think it's just awesome that he's able to volunteer his time and support the community. He's done this a number of times in a number of different community-based groups, and it's really terrific to see him support our community. We're really lucky to have him here. So that was number one. Number two, we put somebody on the Historical Society, but we don't typically talk about it. But we did bring it up just now, and they're also doing this kind of new thing this year. As I understand it, it's new. There's a Valentine's dinner they're putting together on Friday, February 6th. It's a 3-course dinner to raise funds for their programs. It will be held at the is that right? Holly Center. Yeah. And there's 2 seatings, 5 and 7:30 p.m. And if you have the interest to get some great food and support the Historical Society, I think you should get tickets and go down.
Thanks, Colin. Anybody else have anything for public input? I guess I skipped right over that, didn't I, tonight? All right, let's go to new business. We have ordinance number 02-2026. This is an ordinance amending Chapter 16 of... Sorry, I got it. You guys would probably hope I'm still in Florida here. Okay, let's go unfinished business. That's what I said. Ordinance number 17-2025, an ordinance amending Chapter 14 of the Building Code and Chapter 17 of the Zoning Code of the Municipal Code of the City of Waupaca. This is the second reading. Juliana, you want to take this for us?
Yes. This is a two-part amendment to both the building code and the zoning code. We mentioned this at the last council meeting related to agricultural uses and agricultural structures in the city. The zoning code amendment is defining the term agricultural structures, which is not currently defined within our ordinances. This will provide clearer guidance both to members of the community as well as to staff in applying these regulations and in determining where these structures are allowable within the city. The amendment to Chapter 14 of the Building Code is related to clarifying when exactly a building permit is required for agricultural outbuildings, which are exempt from building permits within the Wisconsin State Building Code. Those projects are still potentially subject to electrical and plumbing permits, but in this case, we're clarifying that they need to also work through any zoning requirements for those buildings, such as getting a site plan approval or ensuring that they have an approved use application for a commercial agricultural operation. To clarify, we've included the definition with that as a commercial agricultural operation because that links up with our definitions in the zoning code, which specify various uses that involve receiving an income. So with that information, I can also direct you to look at the precise amendments on pages 73 and 74 of the packet.
Okay, anybody have any questions? Did you have any public comment since the first reading?
No, I haven't.
Okay. All right, so this is the second reading. We'd be looking for a motion to approve this ordinance. Anybody?
Move to approve.
Motion by Perchatsky. Second by Halverson that we approve ordinance number 17-2025. Any discussion? If not, Barb will call the roll.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
All right, the next one is, excuse me, ordinance number 01-2026. This is a ordinance amending the City of Waupaca year 2030 comprehensive plan. And again, this is the second reading of that. Juliana.
Thank you. This begins on page 76 of the packet. This relates to 3 parcels within the city. This includes 3 properties that are anticipated to have rezone requests in the future. The first is a small portion of land adjacent to the River Ridge Natural Area on the southeast side of the city that is a part of the parkland and is being designated from neighborhood mixed use to parks and conservation. The second is at 100 Cooper Street and is a portion adjacent to the Rotary Riverview Park that would be moved from downtown mixed use and parks and conservation to exclusively parks and conservation as it's being incorporated into that park. And finally, the third is for the property at 216 South Franklin Street, the Waupaca Curling Club, which is currently designated as Parks and Conservation and is being redesignated to community mixed use in line with the current use of that property.
All right. Any questions? Again, we'd be looking for a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Martin, second by Peterson, that we approve ordinance number 01-2026. Any discussion? Barb will call the roll.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Scott Berchatsky,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Corey Nagel.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
All right, and then under new business, ordinance number 02-2026. This is an ordinance amending Chapter 16 of the Electrical Code of the City of Waupaca. This is the first reading. Juliana?
Thank you. These amendments are being initiated based off of feedback that we received from the State of Wisconsin Department of Safety and Professional Services. As a delegated municipality, the city is able to perform, among other inspections of commercial electrical work in the city. As part of renewing our license to do so, we submit our electrical code for review by DSPS, and every 4 years. They noted a few issues with the electrical code that required amendments to our ordinances to make sure that we are in line with state statute. Those included a local licensing requirement that the city has not been enforcing for a few years' time, that would have required electricians to get a city license in addition to their state level license, as well as some references to now defunct codes within the state, and updating those to reference the correct state statutes. And finally, removing local exceptions to the state electrical code, which we are not allowed to have under state statute. In addition to making those amendments based off of the state's request, we are also making a few updates to align with current departmental practices, including removing references to plan submittals that the inspectors no longer require, and also mentioning property owners submitting electrical permit applications, which is not something that the city has allowed for some time. We instead require that the applicant be the individual performing the project, the master electrician himself or herself. This is the first reading of this ordinance change, and there's no action at this meeting. This will come up again at the next council meeting.
All right. Thanks, Juliana. Anybody have any questions for her? All right, so this will be at our February 3rd meeting for discussion again. Next up, under new business, we have Wisconsin Public Service electrical easement at Waupaca Municipal Airport. Justin?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. So this is in page 92 to 96 of the packet. So this is an easement agreement with WPS on the airport property, so that's city property. So any agreement, easement agreement has to be brought forward to the council for approval. If it feels like deja vu, we've done this several times over the past year or so. I'd like to direct your attention to page 96, which is the exhibit of this easement, and alluding to seeing this before. A little higher, Josh. There you go. If you could zoom in a little bit, please. Great. So the light gray is the ones we've approved recently in the past. The black is what this one is referring to. So you can see that it is anticipating the full build out of these hangars moving forward. There's a few missing from that aerial. So there's one hangar that is needing electrical service now that they can't get to without this easement. So I've been working closely with WPS they have been designing this, but then also accommodating for other utilities, gas, and then potential for sewer and water in the future. So like the rest, the terms of these easement agreements are pretty standard. They have the right to maintain their facilities. They'll fix anything that they mess up, including the grass. And that's basically the gist of it, and we give them the right to enter our premises and do that. For the record, I do have a typo in my memo. The requested action is referencing the incorrect document. The correct one is just below it, listed in the attachments, and the actual easement document is there. So the correct one is 3340354. So please, if you are going to reference the number in your action, sorry about the confusion. So anyways, looking for this to get approved so we continue with assisting the development of the hangars out at the airport.
All right. Thanks, Justin. Any questions of Justin? Comments? Motion?
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Martin, second by Dykstra, that we approve of the easement for Wisconsin Public Service at the Waupaca Municipal Airport. Any discussion? Barbara, call the roll.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
Thank you, Justin. Next up, we have license report number 1745. This is that operator's bartender's license. You can find that on page 98 of your packet. There are 2 names on there. We'd be looking for a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
I'm sorry, Perchatsky or Hagan? Motion by Hagan, second by Olson, to approve the license report. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Against, say no. Motion carried. I do not have anything for communications of the mayor tonight, so we'd be looking for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Hagan, second by Olson, that we adjourn till our next regular scheduled meeting, which is Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026, subject to call. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried.